Hello and welcome everyone to our AWD Knowledge Hub monthly webinar. Today we have a very special guest, coach and athlete Giorgio Minisini, who will share his inspiring journey and insights in artistic swimming and inclusion. Before we begin, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. I am a member of the Youth and Junior USA Artistic Swimming National Teams, a certified coach, and I am deeply passionate about advocating for diversity and inclusion within artistic swimming. Here's a quick agenda of what you can expect in today's discussion. Now I'd like to welcome our guest speaker, Coach Giorgio Minisini. Coach Giorgio is a 4-time world champion and 7-time Italian Athlete of the Year. As the first male artistic swimmer to win gold at a world championship, he is a pioneering figure in the sport, renowned for his technical innovation, expressive performance, and unwavering advocacy for the inclusion of male and AWD athletes in artistic swimming. He began his artistic swimming journey at just 6 years old, one of the very few boys in Italy at the time. A true global ambassador, Coach Giorgio speaks 3 languages and has competed across 4 continents. As a choreographer, he helps shape routines, from selecting music to crafting themes that range from classical to modern. Inspired by ballet and theater, he sees every performance as a story in motion, blending athleticism with art to bring emotion to the water.
Arianna.
So it's all about letting them express their potential. It's about focusing on what they can do and not on what they cannot or about the limits.
In Italy, there's a project, Filippide, focusing on Down syndrome and autism.
Inclusivity Games, tell me about why that's such an important thing to you.
This is so fulfilling.
When Arianna competes with Giorgio, she feels the emotion. She is an incredible young lady.
Not saying that it's easy. Every of us, we have our pros, our cons, we have our different colors, and they too have. Some of them are very dedicating, but also very stubborn. So you have to relate with them as you would relate with a non-disability athlete. I'm learning a lot from this, and then you see them swimming, you see them enjoying the moment, improving.
For me, that's one of the most memorable performances of this European Championships.
And I can't wait to see what they will do now in Rome in 5 of April, because we have people from France, from Brazil, from China. It's about doing it together. This is something really fulfilling for me.
As soon as you see that doing mistakes doesn't kill anyone, fear slowly fade away. And that's key point. You don't have to fear errors. You don't have to fear mistakes. Even of course, if you are supported, that's easier than if you're not.
Yeah, you mentioned being worried in the beginning. Would you have any advice for other people who might be in a similar position where they're just starting to work with athletes with disabilities and they're also feeling a little bit of fear?
Yeah, I would say that the sentence I said before, it's quite, it synthesizes the thought. So you don't have to change the goal, just have to change the tool. So as you would relate with a normal athlete, as you would relate with a normal person, you relate with them using different methods, of course. And if a method doesn't work, you change method, as you will do with a non-disabled athlete, with a non-disabled person. So It's about that. It's about trying to relate with the person and not with the pathology, not with the disease. If you relate with the person, then you start to notice what works for them, what doesn't, and you start to fix your method and approach. So it's about that. It's always about what's the goal, how the person reacts to how I try to push her or him to the goal, and how I can adjust my tools to help him or her better in that.
Yeah, that's a very helpful insight. Thank you so much for sharing. Now we can move on to a little bit about working in the water with athletes. So one thing that makes your coaching and your partnership so special is that you get in the water and swim alongside the athletes. So Could you tell us a little bit more about why that's important and what you've learned from those experiences?
Yeah, I think that one very clever insight that Giorgio Minisini had is that Paralympic artistic swimming shouldn't be separated to Olympic, to non-disabled swimming. And this is for sport in general. So when you put together athletes without disability and with disability, what you get is that you get something for both. So for me, training with Arianna has been very useful for my everyday training because seeing how she struggled to do something and how she found solutions to get where she want to get, and how the coach found solution to get where we want to her to get. That's very useful for yourself for reasoning on how you do the same process. So that's very useful, but also for them it's very useful. We now have an inclusive team in the Progetto, inclusive female duet. I'm still swimming with Arianna. We have a very young senior, very young mixed duet. So we see that mixing abilities really really put the work to another level. And athletes, the guys really take a lot from that because they can, look how we do scales, how we do positions, how we do transitions, and that helps them a lot because it's not only words, it's actual images that they can try to copy, and then they start to feel more. To feel more, we are swimming with someone that is very strong, so we are strong, so we can do more. That's very useful to do.
Yeah, that sounds like a good relationship, helping each other. I was wondering, have you had any special moments of like teamwork or connection during these sessions where you're practicing with the athletes in the water?
I would say that every day you have that moment of spark. Maybe it's a word from one of the guys. Maybe it's some of them that managed to do something new. Some of them that propose a movement, so he express his creativity. Every training have these moments, and I think that those moments are the result of we challenge them. So when you challenge an athlete, he will struggle and then create something. With them, it's the same. So I think that those moments are very powerful for them, of course, but also for us to see where our work is going, to see how they're improving as persons and not only as athletes.
Yeah, that must be really motivating. The question I had was, you mentioned this a little bit earlier, but how do you help athletes understand new movements or skills during practice? For example, if you're in the water, other than showing the athletes the movements, do you have any techniques that you use? And if you're on land coaching, what techniques would you use to help them?
Yeah, usually to show them tends to work. When it doesn't work, you can actually move them. So if you're in the water, that's easier. If you're outside, you have to find a way to move them, get them in position so that they can understand what they have to do. Of course, this is different from person to person. Some persons are more safe, some are more relaxed, that you can manipulate them better. But yeah, I think that seeing someone else doing it and feeling with the moment helps a lot. Something that is very important is to have patience. It happened many times with Arianna, especially we proposed to her something new, and on the spot don't she didn't manage to do it. She didn't manage to understand it. She gets frustrated. She gets angry. We try. She don't. She. At the end of the day, she still didn't manage. It's okay, Arianna. We are here for working. That's why we are here. It's normal to fail. Then we go back training, and she managed to do it. So one day after, 2 days after, maybe 1 week after. Sometimes it happened that we found ourselves to say, okay, this movement is too much. She's not ready for that. And after a couple of months, she doing it like surprise. That's it. The process. So I think it's very important to not fall short. So to not say this is too difficult, we will never get that. Try. If they fail, no problem. Fail is part of the sport, and still, when they fail, they learn something, and that something will at some point result in something different. One last thing that you can do is trying to get in the reference perspective, reference points. So they have all the elements that they know how to do. So you can use the elements that they know to make them understand what they want them to do next. And that's something that is useful because it's something that they know is familiar. So they know they can do it. They just have to change it. So it's still a long process, but it can help them have some, familiarities with the movement.
Yeah, I definitely think failure is an important part of the sport that sometimes gets looked down upon, but all athletes definitely need time to improve and learn new skills. So thank you for sharing those insights. Let's move now to some key insights that you've learned through your journey. You've shared a lot of powerful insights with us already. For example, the importance of visibility, adapting choreography, and making the sport more accessible. Could you tell us a little bit more about how these lessons have shaped your work and what key lessons you think you've learned as well?
I love this part because why I always happy to talk about Arianna and to go with her in television because she's so happy to do it. She's very a diva. She likes to be in front of the camera. She likes to speak, even if she is very anxious. So behind the scenes, she's very anxious. Like, oh my God, if I do something wrong. Then she came out after the show and she's so happy. I want to do it again. So that's why I'm happy to do it, because she's happy to do it. And this is also important because, as I said before, our focus is to focus on what they can do more than what they cannot do. Of course, you have to take into account the difficulties. You have to take into account the barriers that you have to turn around. But still, you have to show that that's something that they can do, that's something that is their ability, their actual ability, and not their disability. So this is very important, and it's always what we try to show when we talk about it publicly. And as we write in the slide, in order to do that, you have to adapt every single aspect of the choreography to the strength of the artist. So you also have to talk with the artists to understand that, because Arianna likes some kind of music, another guy likes another kind of music. So you have to let them express what they can express better, and that can help them and can help people to see that they can do something, and it's not just about what they cannot do.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see what's possible with passion and purpose. Thank you for reminding us of that. For when you choreograph routines for athletes with disabilities, how do you balance artistic impression while also making it accessible in the choreography?
Well, we always, as method, we always try to look for the most complex and difficult thing we can achieve. So we always work the opposite way. So we don't start from saying we have to find something simple so that they can do it. We always propose them top of the top, and then, okay, this is too much. Let's do a little less. And that's because maybe in a couple of months they will do what we thought it was too much. But in general, of course, you have to make them have fun. I mean, this should be something valid for every athlete, not only for athletes with disabilities. Every athlete should have fun while working, should have fun while cycling, should have fun while feeling fatigue. So with them, even more. And that's a key point. We try to make the choreography funny for them to swim, or maybe significant, or maybe whatever can move them. So you always start from what's inside them, what they want, and how you can help them to express that. And then, you create. Sometimes it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it's, again, no problem. You start again and try again different approach.
Yeah, could you walk us through a little bit about like what the choreography process of a routine looks like, from choosing the music to putting all the movements on the music? Could you tell us a little bit about what that process is like?
So in the in the progetto, we have our creative mind that is Arianna's coach. Is Sabrina is the coach that follows me and Arianna, and she is the one that's behind all the music, all the ideas, and we just let her express because she's too creative. And then we all co-work on trying to do the best of from her idea. So we have a team of 14 guys, and when they are all, we are almost 14 coaches. So we are really a team working with a team, and everyone try to put a piece inside. Some pieces fixes, some doesn't, and it's really like a puzzle, doing a puzzle all together. With the progetto, this is the work, and with Arianna, it's the same, but Arianna is, of course, more involved because it's easier. The guys from the team, they sometimes propose something, but it's a little more difficult to do it for them, working in, more people. For Arianna, it's easier to say, I want to do this, even because, we've been since 2018, so we are a little more, she feels a little more confident proposing her ideas.
Yeah, it must be really great though to have a support system like Ariana's coach to help with the choreography. One other question I had was, what do you think is the main kind of support that coaches need to work with athletes with disabilities?
I think that it's fundamental to have some professional figures that goes along with the coaches, because of course we are talking sports, we are talking about what a coach helps with an athlete with disability, but still we have to take into account that they have a disability, so they have some moments, they have some characteristics that you have to you have to take care of in the right way. And for athletes with Down syndrome tends to be easier than for maybe athletes with autism. For autism, you have to have very specialized professionals, but also for athletes with Down syndrome, sometimes they can have crises, sometimes they can have problems with families. So you totally need help from that side. So a professional, maybe from, specialized in that kind of cognitive disability, specialized in social, we call it social services in Italy. I don't know how it is in English, but yes, you have to have an external figure that is professional for it, because sometimes you need that.
Yeah, and one last question. What advice would you give to other coaches or teams who want to start being more inclusive to other athletes?
The best advice, I think, is to start, because if you never start, you never fail, and you never learn, and you never win. So to start is the best option you have, and you will try do something, and something will work, something will not work. I think that what's important is to if you include them in a team, you have to involve the team in the inclusion. So what really makes special the relation I had with Arianna is that I was inside the water, but I was involved in her inclusion. So I felt, a responsibility of letting her express its maximum. So if you do it the same with the team, it shouldn't be like, okay, guys, this athlete will swim with you because we want him to be included. It's about, okay, guys, we want you to help us including these guys, including this athlete. That will responsibilize the athletes, will feel them involved, will feel them doing something relevant, and it's the way of doing it that we are doing with the other inclusive teams, including mixed duet and female duet. We always try to include everyone in the work. That's very important.
Yeah, those were all very amazing pieces of advice. And hopefully people who are hesitant to begin can build up the courage to just start, like you said. Now we can move on to some of the best practices. From all your experience, you've developed some really thoughtful ways to support AWD athletes, both in and out of the water. Could you please share with us some of the best practices and techniques that you've developed or discovered?
Yeah, I think that something that's very important is to get to know the persons behind the athletes, because some individuals use different techniques to relate with you. So you have some that sometimes you have to be tough, because it happens that sometimes, especially I work out with athletes without speaking them, and many of them, the majority of them, if at least for what I know in Italy, they work on the consciousness of what it means to have a disability. And some of them, since they know that they have this thing that is called disability, sometimes they use it. So if they don't want to work, they start to they start doing the disabled. So they they express some behaviors that it's not the actual way of being. It's like doing too much what they would do. So you have to make sure that they know that that they can do more. So you have to take them sometimes. It's only some individuals. You have to take them and to say, I know that you're doing this on purpose. We are here for training. We are not here for just passing time. So if you want to say, yeah, you have to work. And this is not about being rough. It's not about being, it's not about being rough. It's about respecting them. Because with an athlete without disability, you will do the same. So of course, you change the tool, but you still keep the goal. You still keep the idea that we are working, your work as a value, your time as a value, and you have to respect that value. I mean, you as a coach, so you have to wish for them that they use their time in the right way. So this is something, but of course, every individual is different. Sometimes, as I said, you can ask for help from external professionals, but yes, that's about getting to know the person and not only the athlete.
Yeah, you mentioned that getting to know the athletes is very important. How do you usually begin to build trust and get to know them personally? Like, what techniques do you usually use?
Well, I think that it's pretty heuristic since I doing sports for all my life. I would say that you always show trust first. So trust is something that can only be given. You will never get trust if it's. So first thing, you have to show them trust, and what I do, and I try to show them that I'm with them. So I try to show that I want to be with them. I want to work with them. It's very positive and that everything. Then, of course, it happened the moment when you have to set the boundaries. Some behaviors, some answers, some dynamics, and you have to say, okay, I'm with you, I trust you, but this is the limit of our relationship. So here you can say, and we will have a trustful relationship and fulfilling relationship. If you get outside of the boundaries, it's not okay for what we have to do. And in that, at that point, you can see the different individuals. Some just understand that stay inside the boundaries. Some they really want to push out, and you have to try to keep them inside. Some just go on in and out. So that's the process that usually happens. But still, what you want to do to achieve is that they stay in the boundaries, not because you want to control them, but because between those boundaries they can work and improve both as athlete and person. So that's why you set the boundaries, and that's why you want them to stay there. So it's not against them. It's about staying with them in the best way possible.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining that so clearly. Now I think we can move on to the Q&A. So we did have one question come in early in the chat. Coach Tina asked what your thoughts for inclusion of our sport in the Paralympics were. I think you answered this briefly earlier, but she also asked, what have you or your federation done to advance the sport for Paralympic inclusion?
Sorry, I just had a lot of notifications, but yeah, I got the message. So for what my federation is doing, I just don't know, because Italian Federation of Swimming is like now they change a lot of things, so I don't know at what point they are. We just with the project, I don't want to say that we are alone, but we work a lot alone. I would say that, everybody wants to be at the Olympics, everybody wants to be at the Paralympics, and it shouldn't be like that, but it's like a fight, and it's a fight that it's fought on numbers, it's fought on representation. So the best thing we can do is to show our movement. So participate at the event, being a lot active on the socials, being a lot caring, sharing. I think that people have to see that our movement exists, and people have to care about our movement. People have to see that we have the numbers, that we have the technical capacities in the art of sports that want to be included, and they will do that. So we will never get inside the Paralympics because it's right. We get there because we will force them to get us inside. Because, as I said, everybody wants to stay in, but the sports are limited. So we really have to work on that side, representation, and advertising our sport, our movement. All of that stuff is very important right now.
Yeah, building awareness is definitely a really important part of the whole movement, and a big reason why we do these monthly webinars, so that we can increase awareness around the sport. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute yourself. But in the meantime, I wanted to ask if there's anything you've learned about yourself coaching athletes with disabilities. Are there any new insights or perspectives that you gained about yourself personally?
Well, I just, I don't want to be rhetoric. I think that every time you relate with another person, you learn something, and when you relate with persons that struggle with difficulties, no matter if it's disability or not disability, I'm studying psychology, and what I find very interesting is that when you relate with someone that is struggling, it's like that it's like looking at a reflect of yourself. Like it's something that you have to avoid actually, but you can see that sometimes you can recognize some patterns, and I think that working with them, I find myself a lot of time thinking about, yes, this behavior is not very good for them to improve, but how many times I did the same behavior as an athlete because I wanted more, but I wanted to do it different. But if it's not good for them, it wasn't good for me also. So in which other situation I do this kind of behaviors and how I can act differently. So it's just that these experiences makes you ask yourself questions, and those questions can help you learn something about yourself.
Yeah, that's a really unique perspective. I've never thought about it that way before, but I can definitely see how you might kind of feel like it's a reflection of yourself in some ways. One other question was that, what's your dream for the next 5 to 10 years of your work with inclusion for athletes with disabilities, or for inclusion of males within the sport, or even just your athletic career?
Well, of course, I think that we need two different things. We need artistic swimming at the Paralympics, and we need men at the Olympics for artistic swimming. We almost got there last year, but there are a lot of reasons why we didn't get there. But I think that we need to be there in Los Angeles, because if we will get there to Los Angeles, then we will make a zero for all the world. Every point in the world will have the step zero done, because the Olympics are the thing. So this is very important for the sport, and same for Paralympics. If we need to get that, because we need everybody to know that, okay, I can do that also. And in the very future, I will really love to see competition, inclusive competition. So an Olympics that is not divided between Olympics and Paralympics, but it's about, celebration of sport. So with disability athlete, without disability athlete, competing, cooperating, everybody in its way. And there are sports where this is easy. Of course, our sport is easier than running, for example, but I think that one event like that would be the real peak of the sport movement.
Yeah, that's a very powerful vision, and we will all cheer for you and your team as you work towards them. I think that's all the questions we got for today. So quick announcement. Our next webinar will be on July 25th at 5 p.m. PST. Our guest speakers will be coaches Grace and Candice from Canada, and I'll be sending out the registration and meeting links soon, so stay tuned for those. And finally, thank you all so much for joining today, and a special thank you for sharing his experiences and expertise with us. We really appreciate hearing all your stories and insights, and I hope to see everyone again next month. Thank you.
Thanks to you. Thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.